Hello, I'm Sifu Lamar M. Davis II. I would like to welcome you to my series on Bruce Lee's martial art, Jun Fan Jeet Kune Do Complete. The purpose of these instructional videos is to go more in depth than anyone previously has into the study of Bruce Lee's fighting method. In these tapes, not only will you see the how, but you'll see the why and the when. Most of you have probably seen books and other instructional videos on Jeet Kune Do. Certain elements of these books, certain elements of these videotapes probably sort of left you in the dark. You could not tell by the photo sequences how the technique would actually be applied, or you could not tell by the video all the various ways that a technique could be used. In this series, we will go extremely in-depth onto all areas of training. My background in Bruce Lee's fighting method goes back to the mid-70s. I trained with 8 of Bruce Lee's original students. I'm very familiar with the material from the Seattle period, the Oakland period, and the Chinatown period. I've written articles for Black Belt, Inside Kung Fu, Inside Karate, with many more to come. In 1991, I was inducted into the World Martial Arts Hall of Fame as the Jun Fan Jeet Kune Do Instructor of the Year. I think you'll see, when you watch these tapes, that myself and my students definitely know what we're doing. I think you'll learn a lot from the tapes if you study them carefully and train hard. I'm the Executive Director of the United States Jeet Kune Do Alliance. If you're not already a member and you are seriously interested in Bruce Lee's fighting method, membership is something that you may want to consider. Student membership is only $25 per year, renewable each year in the month that you originally joined. You get a newsletter, you get special offers, discounts on instructional videotapes like this one, and many other things that are not open to outsiders. We also have training camps each year, usually 2 or 3 times a year, for anyone who's interested in becoming an instructor of Jun Fan Jeet Kune Do. We promote the original method as taught by Bruce Lee. Where Bruce Lee died, that's where we end. We do, however, encourage, once you have completed our program, if you would like to go out on your own and maybe even go into the concepts route, that's fine. But many people were never given the chance to learn what Bruce Lee originally had to offer. That's the purpose of the United States Jeet Kune Do Alliance. We want to give you that chance. If you're interested in membership, you can write to me, Sifu Lamar M. Davis II, at 267 West Valley Avenue, suite number 223, Birmingham, Alabama, zip code 35209. We will send you an application and we will send you some information. If you would like to call about seminars or membership, area code 205-664-5425. You'll reach the office of my training academy, the Fighting Dragons Chinese Martial Arts Academy, which is the most complete Chinese martial arts training facility in the state of Alabama. If you're interested in USJKDA membership, please contact me and become a part of everything that we're doing. I would like to talk to you a little bit about the history of Jun Fan Kung Fu and Jeet Kune Do. As most of you probably already know, Bruce Lee started out training in the system of Wing Chun. He trained in Hong Kong under the tutelage of Yip Man and 2 of his primary students, Wong Shun Lung and Chung Chuk Hing. Most of you know Chung Chuk Hing as William Chung. When Bruce first came to the United States, what he taught was primarily Wing Chun with a little bit of kicking and other techniques from some of the other systems of Chinese Kung Fu, primarily Northern style Chinese Kung Fu kicking due to the fact that most of the kicking in the Wing Chun system consisted of from the waist down. Bruce wanted to broaden his kicking and make his use of the legs much more functional for combative purposes. During the Seattle period, Bruce taught such prominent people as Taki Kimura, Jesse Glover, James DeMille, Joseph Cowles, who was one of my instructors. Today, you can closely see what Bruce was teaching during the Seattle period by watching such people as Jesse Glover. Jesse has a series of tapes out that are excellent that cover certain aspects of non-classical Chinese Kung Fu. Jesse was also one of my instructors. When Bruce left the Seattle period, the Oakland period began. He resided in Oakland, California with James Yim Lee, who became one of his most ardent students. James Lee was responsible for building a lot of the training equipment that later was made famous by Bruce. During the Oakland period, you saw the addition of several techniques from boxing. You saw the addition of some fencing footwork and fencing defensive theory. You also saw some elements from certain other aspects of martial arts integrated into Jeet Kune Do. Basically, it was the Oakland period which the term Jeet Kune Do came into use. From the Oakland period, Bruce went to LA Chinatown and opened a school there. From the Chinatown period, certain prominent students that you will recognize would be Dan Inosanto, Ted Wong, Jerry Poteet, Daniel Lee, people of this nature. During this period, Jeet Kune Do reached its highest level of development and became a very, very, very combative system, as it always had been. But some of you have probably heard of a conflict that Bruce had during the Oakland period that forced him to make some changes in the original Jun Fan Kung Fu. Thus, Jeet Kune Do was born. Many people have referred to Jeet Kune Do as Chinese Kung Fu. Many people have referred to it as Chinese kickboxing. That's not really the important thing here. The important thing is that you realize that it was the method founded by Bruce Lee. Now, in this series of tapes, I intend to cover the techniques from the Seattle period, the Oakland period, and the LA Chinatown period in depth. Tapes in this series will be basics, like basic foundation movements, which will cover stance, defensive theory, basic concepts, things of that nature. You will see a technique on tape on hand techniques, a tape on kicking techniques. You will see tapes on the 5 ways of attack, basic trapping, advanced trapping, energy and sensitivity training, Siong Chi Sao, which is the double arm sticking. You'll see a tape on Siong Chi Sao with trapping and grappling. You'll see a tape on basic Jeet Kune Do self-defense techniques. You'll see a technique on grappling, a tape on grappling and counter-grappling. So these are some of the tapes that you'll see in this series. If you study them closely, you can learn quite a bit. And hopefully, if you acquire the entire series, you will be able to obtain a much more complete knowledge of Bruce Lee's art than you have at the present time. I think you'll enjoy the series, and I'm looking forward to working with you, and I hope that I can meet all of you in person one day and train you one-to-one. At this point, we'll get started. Hello. Welcome to Volume 5, Intercepting Fist and Stop Kicking. In this volume, we will cover all of the basics to developing the proper intercepting fist and all of the basics to developing good stop kicking skill. We'll start with the intercepting fist. First, I want to talk to you a little bit about proper body mechanics. In Jeet Kune Do, when we punch with the entire body, not just the arm, but the entire body. So, from my fighting stance, which is like so, with my power side forward, I have to make sure that I get maximum power in the punch if I want knockout capability from my intercepting fist. So, in order to do this, I have to apply the whole body to the punch and not just the arm. So I want the fist to travel in a straight line toward the target. Notice the pivot on the ball of the rear foot. Notice the waist and the hips turning in. At full extension of the punch, I snap through the target, shorten the arc, and return back to the on guard position. Notice the starting position and the stopping position are the same. Okay, another thing that I want you to notice is that the hand never stops moving. Notice I go in a straight line out to my target. Upon impact and striking through the target, I don't stop and return straight back. I go through the target, I shorten the arc by pulling in slightly and then returning. So, in this manner, the fist arcs through the target as opposed to striking at the target and then returning. Looking at that from the side, from the basic stance, start the extension of the hand, pivot on the ball of the rear foot, waist and hips starting to turn into it. Okay? At the point of impact, the fist is tight. You go through the target, shorten the arc, and return. Now, this is a tight arc, not a wide arc. An example of a wide arc would be like so, okay? We don't do that because if you miss your target, you're left open. At this point right here, I'm open. Whereas using the shortened arc, you remain well protected throughout the punch. Looking at it from the side. Of course, these are just being fired kind of slow, so you can see what the technique looks like. In Janfan Jeet Kune Do, we use the vertical fist structure. Most martial arts systems, when they punch, they'll punch with a horizontal fist. When you punch with a horizontal fist, the elbow comes out, and at this point, you leave yourself open. In Jeet Kune Do, this is considered extremely dangerous. We use the vertical fist structure, firing with the vertical fist, striking with the bottom three knuckles. This enables the elbow to stay down and protect the ribs as the punch goes out, as opposed to turning it over for a horizontal fist and leaving the ribs exposed. Also, it's extremely hard to use a short arc if you're firing with a horizontal fist. Okay, to explain shortening the arc a little bit better, some martial arts teach a punch that goes straight out to the target, strikes the target, and then comes straight back. That's fine. That's basically the idea behind a lot of the techniques in Jeet Kune Do. We have a variation of the leading straight punch, which does just go straight out and straight back. However, this is a jab. This is not a power straight punch that will knock someone out. This is just a quick jab. It's a stinger. It's to bust the mouth. It's to break the nose. It's to pop the jaw. Just real quick. It's a setup designed to be followed immediately with something else. Okay? So that's when we go straight out and straight back. It's more of a speed jab. Just straight out, straight back. You just remain completely loose the entire time you fire it, with the exception of the fist, which tightens just before impact. So, that's one type of punch. But if you want to knock someone out with one single punch, you must be able to strike through the target as opposed to striking at the target. The shortened arc enables you to fire through the target and return immediately to the on-guard position. In your body mechanics, retraction speed is very important. If a punch goes out at a certain speed, it should come back at that speed or faster. In fact, what you want to imagine yourself doing during your training is bringing the hand back quicker than you get it out there. Okay? This really increases the overall speed of your movement if you'll use your imagination in this way. Concentrate on very fast retraction, very quick retraction. Get it back. Don't leave it out there where it's a stem for trapping or breaking. Okay? Get it out, get it back. So we emphasize that shortened arc because it enables you to fire through the target. It enables you to follow through and return immediately to the on-guard position. Notice that the hand never stops, so you don't get that start-stop motion. In other sports, a way that you could relate this would be to look at the baseball player, for instance. When he swings his bat, he does not swing the bat and stop right when he hits the ball. He follows through, okay? Because that follow-through is going to give the necessary power to drive the ball further. Same way with a golfer swinging his golf club. He doesn't just swing the club and stop when it hits the ball. He follows through. This shortened arc in the punch is what enables the Jeet Kune practitioner to follow through and get maximum power in the punching technique. Okay, so once again, we emphasize putting the entire body into the punch. So watch the mechanics as the punch takes place. Notice that the hand always moves first. Notice that the rear hand stays inside the shoulder, below the chin, to protect as the punch goes out. Side view. Rear view. Once again, I'm not going for speed here. I'm just demonstrating the mechanics of the movement. Another principle that we apply that enables the practitioner to get the whole body into the punch is what I refer to as aiming the gun. Okay, when you assume your fighting stance, imagine that the forearm is the barrel of a gun, and the fist is the bullet coming out of the barrel. Okay, if I assume my fighting stance like so, the barrel of the gun would be aimed where? Toward the ceiling. So I'm better set up to punch the ceiling rather than to punch an opponent that would be standing straight in front of me, because if I'm going to hit him, what ends up happening, I hammer down into my target as opposed to thrusting directly into the target. So, in order to get maximum power, you must aim your gun. Treat the forearm as the barrel of the gun, the fist is the bullet coming out. If the forearm lines up directly on your target, you get maximum body power going into the punch. Everything goes into a good, solid, straight line thrust. No wasted motion, therefore no wasted energy. So concentrate on this in your training. Aim the forearm at your target, which in most cases would be your opponent's head. In a training situation, it might be a double end ball. It might be a focus glove. Okay? So, from here, make sure that the forearm aims at the target so you get a good, direct, straight line thrust going into the target. Then shorten the arc and return so that your momentum going into the punch never stops. Okay? That's what we refer to as aiming the gun. Keep that in mind throughout your training while you're training this intercepting fist technique. It'll make your punch much quicker, much more powerful, and much more deceptive. Because when this forearm is aiming right at the person's face, it's harder to see the movement as it initiates. Okay? Whereas if I'm here and I'm hammering down going into my punch, that's easier to see than a direct thrust coming straight at the eyes. Okay, at this time I'll be joined by one of my assistant instructors, Mr. Harry Daniel, and we'll demonstrate the mechanics of the punch actually striking a target, which in this case is going to be the focus glove. Okay, now this is just the basic intercepting fist technique, okay, with, at this time, no footwork. Alright, so from the on guard position, I'm going to measure off so that my fist contacts the glove right before full extension of the arm. You want to try to avoid fully extending the arm because at this point the elbow is in a weak position. If you miss your target, you'll hyperextend. Also with the arm in this position, the arm can easily be broken at the elbow joint. So you want to make sure that when you strike the target and you shorten the arc and follow through, that you never completely lock out the arm because of the potential damage if you miss. Okay, keeping that in mind, I'll fire a few punches into the glove, then we'll show you some different angles on the punch. Okay, now we'll show you a different angle. Okay, still get another angle. Okay, notice upon initiation of the punch, the hand just goes, okay? Notice that when I get ready to punch, I don't pull back and then punch. Notice I just punch, okay? That's very important. This is non-telegraphic punching skill. Okay, now there are two ways basically that we can approach this. One way is to have the hands in light motion, just slightly moving, little circles, little weaving in and out motions, okay? This would be how you would be if you were actually engaged in combat. Now, with the hands already moving, it's harder to see when that punch initiates. All right, now if I'm completely still and I try to explode from complete stillness, you know that on the first move, the very first movement that you see, the first movement that your visual perception picks up, you know that that punch is coming at you. So, we have two ways to train this. One way is to train the non-telegraphic capability of the punch in stillness, and the other is what we refer to as stillness in motion, which is where I'm just lightly moving, and then all at once, just out of nowhere, the punch comes. The initiation of the punch just comes out of one of these little hand circles or one of these little weaving motions. That's where it comes from. Okay, so there's basically two ways we can do this. Okay, if we want to really work that non-telegraphic capability and really work on our explosiveness, we do it like we're doing right now, where you're just very still and you just concentrate on just all at once, just full speed ahead, just everything, just boom, just exploding into your target. Okay, show you some from this angle. Notice, I'm aiming my gun. Very important. Aim your gun. Okay? That's the basic intercepting fist technique. That's how it works. Remember, non-telegraphic initiation, vertical fist, starting from a good fighting stance. Hand moves first, pivot on the ball of the rear foot, waist and hips torque into it, extend from the shoulder, fire the punch through the target. Don't hyperextend, fire through the target, shorten the arc, and return immediately to the on guard position. This is the basic delivery from the fighting stance with no footwork. In the next sequences, we'll show you some of the drills that we use to sharpen the practitioner's skill at delivering the intercepting fist. In this sequence, we're going to demonstrate the first in a series of drills designed to help enhance the practitioner's skill with the intercepting fist. The first drill that we're going to show is referred to as the 4-phase intercepting fist extension drill. Harry Daniel's going to join me at this time with a focus glove. We're going to show you what this is all about. Okay, now what you want to do, you want to find a point on the floor where you can put the toe of your lead foot. And you want that toe to stay right at that point on the floor. In other words, during this drill, there's no footwork, no stepping. Now you want to put the whole body into every punch, but no footwork, no stepping. Try to keep your toe in that same spot or on that line. Okay? Now, this drill, as I said earlier, is a 4-phase drill. It goes through 4 distinctive phases. Okay, in the first phase of the drill, I measure off to a distance so that just before full extension of my arm with a closed fist, I contact the glove. Okay, this is phase 1 of the drill. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to fire a few punches from this position. Once again, without moving the feet. That's the important thing here. The lead foot cannot move during any of the phases of this drill. Okay, so the first phase, we start here. Like so. Alright, that's the first phase. The second phase of the drill, we move the glove back just a little bit further. Now, I almost fully extend my arm and I contact the glove with the fingertips of my extended hand. Okay? Notice that I'm not at full extension of the arm yet. Okay, so this drill takes place from this distance. This is how we measure off. Okay, so from here, measuring off every time to make sure you're right where you're supposed to be. You fire the punch once again, full power, without moving the foot. No stepping. Now what I want you to do when you're training this with your partner, I want you every time to look down at that foot, make sure it's where it's supposed to be, make sure you haven't cheated. Then I want you to extend that hand and get that range. That's very important. You need to do that every time. Okay, the next range that we're going to deal with, start from here, then fully extend the arm. Okay? Toe in the same position. Okay? Fully extend the arm. Alright, now, I want you to lean into the punch with full power at this range. Once again, emphasizing, do not move the lead foot. Okay. Notice that I really have to lean to hit the target with any power now. Okay, that was phase 3. Now we go on to phase 4. Now in phase 4, with the toe in the same place, we go back to the same position where we measured off in phase 1. So we're back to here. Okay, so once again, we're going to fire the punch from the same position as we were in phase 1. Okay, now, the idea was after gradually learning to extend your punching arm, the idea was to get back to a point where you were at the first distance again and then apply the extension that you developed in phases 2 and 3. Now, if you do this drill correctly, making sure that the toe doesn't move and making sure that you measure off each time, you should be very successful in developing some serious power in that intercepting fist technique. Okay, so remember, 4 phases to the drill. Keep the toe in the same place. Measure off every time. Learn to extend that punch. By the time you get to the 4th phase, it's possible that you could have doubled your power from the initial starting phase. In the next segment, we'll continue the focus glove drills. In this sequence, we're going to demonstrate a very simple focus glove drill that we refer to as the telegraph drill. This drill is to help take any initial telegraphic motion out of your punch. So, we're really honing the mechanics of the punch now. We're really working on making that punch very explosive, very non-telegraphic. Okay, Harry's going to join me now, and we're going to demonstrate this drill. Okay, now Harry's going to hold the focus glove. Now I'm going to measure off on the glove, much like before, to a point where my fist is contacting the glove right before full extension. Okay, now Harry's going to reach out with his hand, and when I'm in my fighting stance, Harry's going to maintain the distance with the glove and just lightly, very, very lightly touch the back of my elbow, my lower tricep elbow area with his hand. Okay, now, with me measured off to hit the glove and him just lightly touching the back of my hand, what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to try to explode from here into the glove without any negative movement, without any retraction, without any backward movement. Okay, so what we're working on here is non-telegraphic delivery of the punch. That's why we refer to this as the telegraph drill. Because if I telegraph the punch, his hand will tell on me. Okay? So from here, I'm going to explode forward with my punch. Now I'm going to try to imagine that this arm is like a rocket. This is the launching pad, and I have to concentrate on exploding straight off the pad. Okay? Everything has to go forward. It has to be complete forward energy directed right into the target. So we're working on the directness here. We're working on non-telegraphic capability. Okay, so from this position, I'm going to fire the punch, and if Harry feels any retraction, he's going to tell me. Now, on purpose, for the first few, there's going to be a few times when I'm going to retract. Okay, there's going to be a few times when I'm going to pull back just a little bit before I deliver the punch. That'll telegraph. Now I want you to watch for this, and I want you to see when that telegraph occurs. So I want you to watch for the difference. When do I telegraph? When do I not telegraph? Okay. All right. Punch number 1. Punch number 2. Punch number 3. Punch number 4. Punch number 5. Okay? Which ones did I telegraph on? Harry can tell you which ones. Numbers 2 and 5, okay? So see, if you telegraph at all, this drill will tell on you, okay? All right, now we're going to do a few more, and I'm going to work on very, very, very non-telegraphic movement. Very, very light contact to the arm here. Okay, did I telegraph any of those punches? No. Okay, now Harry's going to come over here. I'm going to let you see it from another angle. Once again, I'm going to work for non-telegraphic movement. Harry shouldn't feel me pull back at any time. Telegraph in? Okay, thank you, Harry. All right, so you see the importance of this drill. It trains you not to retract, not to pull back before delivering the punch. That'll give you away every time. That's like saying, I'm fixing to hit. See, so I want to be from here to here, or from here to here. Not here, here, and then here, okay? So it's very important not to telegraph your punching move. This drill will help you sharpen that skill where you won't do this. Okay, in the next drill, we're going to show you what we refer to as the retraction drill. In this sequence, we're going to be demonstrating what we refer to as the retraction drill. Okay, it's very important that you retract your punch quickly. In other words, when you punch, you want to get it out there and get it back. Right in the on guard position. That's very important. You need to get it back. You can't leave it out there. See, a lot of people, when they fire a punch, they're like, and they leave their arm out there. You got to get it back. Okay, so from here, on guard, see, it's got to come back to the on guard position. Ready to go again, ready to trap, ready to hit again, ready to do whatever it needs to do. In this next drill, Harry's going to join me with a focus glove. We're going to show you what we refer to as the retraction drill. This will teach you to retract your punch very quickly using the shortened arc. Okay, Harry's going to stand in a position like so. Okay, now he's going to put the glove on his left pectoral, left shoulder area, like so. Okay, now he's going to bring the glove out, allow me to measure off and find my distance, and this is where we're going to work the drill from. Okay, now he's going to bring the glove back in. Okay, now whenever he brings the glove out, as soon as it pops into position, the idea is for me to hit it as quick as I possibly can, shorten the arc, and return immediately. Okay, what Harry's going to do, he's going to wait till he feels the punch touch the glove. Then he's going to try to push the glove back at me. He's going to try to push my fist back at me. Okay, if he successfully pushes my fist back in toward me, that means that I failed to retract my punch quickly. So this drill is designed specifically to help you with your retraction speed. So not only do you fire the punch quick, not only do you have a good initiation speed and a good delivery speed, but you have a good retraction speed where you get the punch back where it's not left out there as a stem for trapping or to be broken. Okay, so first of all, you find your range. Okay, once you've found your range, then your partner takes the position with the glove. Okay, now, it's very important that your partner concentrate. He's considered the feeder. You've heard me say this before. He's considered the feeder because he's the person that's feeding the energy into the focus glove. So it's very important that he concentrate on every phase of the drill and concentrate on being very accurate with his positioning of the glove. Okay, so when he comes out, what he has to concentrate on is waiting till he feels the hit before he tries to push back. A common fault that you'll find with some of your training partners on this drill is that they'll actually start to push back before the punch gets there, okay? That's not the idea. See, most people don't realize it, but Harry is also developing a skill. He's developing a touch response skill, a contact reflex skill, the ability to react immediately upon contact with an opponent. Okay, so we're both sharpening a skill here. Me, I'm sharpening my retraction speed. Harry is sharpening his touch reflex or contact reflex speed. Okay, so we measure off. Okay, now we'll begin the drill. Okay, now just like before, I'm going to throw 5 punches. Okay, on a few of these punches, Harry's going to catch me, and on the others, he's not. Now I want you to watch closely, and I want you to see if you can determine which punches I fail to retract quickly. Okay? Then when we're through, Harry's going to tell you which ones they were. Ready? Measure off. Okay, first I measure off to find the range. Okay, now we're ready to begin. Okay, which 2 did I fail to retract? 3 and 5, okay? Now, you notice I left the arm out there just a little bit too long. Just a little bit too long, okay? On the last one, you notice on 5, when I brought it out there, and I tapped it, I knocked it away from him, and then he tapped me coming back in. Come back in with it. He tapped me coming back in, so I left it out there too long. Okay, now, on these next 5 punches, I'm going to concentrate on good, quick retraction speed. He's not going to get me this time, okay? And this is the mental set that you want to work with when you're doing this drill. You've got to imagine yourself to be fast. People that are fast, think fast. You have to think fast to be fast. So you have to imagine yourself as being fast. You have to have a good, positive mental attitude going into this drill. And you have to say, he's not going to get me. He's not going to push my hand back. Okay, now 5 more punches. Okay, on the other side. Okay. This is the retraction drill. It teaches you to retract your punches quickly. Remember all the elements that I explained to you in this drill, and this will really help you sharpen that skill. Okay, in the next segment, we'll show you another one of our focus glove drills. In this segment of the tape, we're going to demonstrate what we refer to as the 2-man intercepting fist drill. This drill is to sharpen your visual perceptive speed, your ability to pick up quickly when your opponent is initiating a movement towards you. So what we do, this time, 2 men, each man wearing a focus glove on their left hand. Now, if your power side is your right side, you need to make sure that your partner's power side is also the right side. If your power side is your left side, you need to make sure that your partner's side is power side is also his left side. Okay, this is very important because you're going to wear the focus glove on the weak hand, leaving the power hand free to attack. And if you have opposite power sides, it won't work for this drill. Okay, so Harry's going to join me now with 2 focus gloves, and we're going to explain to you how this drill works, and then we're going to do it. Okay, now I'm right-handed, that's my power hand. Harry's right-handed, that's his power hand. So we're both going to put the focus glove on our left arm. Okay, now, in this drill, there's 2 basic ways that we do it. We're going to demonstrate both ways. All right, one way is to move around. The other way is to stay stationary. Okay, we start off, of course, teaching the stationary because it involves less movement. It's a little bit simpler to get down. And then we start moving around with the drill. So we're going to show you both ways. First, we're going to demonstrate the drill in a stationary manner. Okay, now, what we have to do here, we have to hold the focus glove up and hold it out in front of us just a little bit. Okay, then we both have to measure off and make sure that we've got the proper range. Okay, so this is what your positioning is going to look like for this drill. So we're going to be right here in this position, and that's where we're going to work from. And the idea is one person is going to lead Okay? One person is determined to be the leader right from the start. Now, the leader is going to be the first person to punch. Now, when that person punches, the other person is going to try to read their intention to punch. They're going to try to pick up that initial movement, and they're going to try to punch the glove before, or at least at the same time as the other person punches their glove. Okay? Now, if you can punch his glove at the same time he's punching your glove, that means that you had some pretty good perception speed. Now, if you beat him to the punch after letting him initiate the move, then your perception speed is really good. Okay, very few people can beat him to the punch, but a lot of people can develop the skill to hit the glove at the same time. Okay, so what we're going to do here, we're going to start off, I'm going to lead first, then I'm going to let Harry lead. Okay, so what this means is that I'll be initiating the punch. Harry's going to try to pick up the telegraphic motion and try to punch my glove at the same time or before I can punch his glove. Okay? Measure off. Ready? Okay? Now, Harry's going to lead. So he's going to punch. I'm going to try to pick up his telegraphic motion and punch his glove at the same time or before he can punch mine. Okay, first we measure off, find the range. It's very important during this drill that you not find yourself kind of wandering back with a focus glove, because before long, you've moved the glove to where your partner's having to reach and overextend, and the other partner's still holding the glove in the right place, so it makes it real easy for one partner and real hard for the other partner. So you want to make it where it's got the same difficulty level for each partner. So we start off by measuring off, and we try to maintain that position throughout the drill. All right, Harry's leading this time. He'll initiate the strike. Okay. Now, another important thing about this drill is to break up the rhythm and break up the timing. You don't want to get it where it's just punch, 1, 2, punch, 1, 2, punch, 1, 2, because then all the person has to do is timing. Okay, at the initial start of this drill, what you saw when we just measured off, you can develop the ability to sense the intention to punch. When Harry got the intention to punch, I picked it up, and I started my punch even though he had not yet actually punched. That's what you're looking to eventually get, where you pick up the intention to punch. Okay, but that's sort of an advanced level. Okay, you'll notice that several times I did manage to strike his glove before he struck mine. Most of the time we were hitting about the same time. But what you're working for is to hone that skill level down to a point where you can hit their glove before they hit yours. Okay, now we go into the second method of performing this drill, where we move around. Now in this we kind of circle, we kind of move back and forth. Once again, it's very important to keep the glove at the proper distance. Okay, so as before, I'll lead first. We'll do the drill moving around, and then I'll let Harry lead. Okay. Okay. Now, we'll do the drill moving around. As you can see, when you move around, it's harder to maintain the range on the gloves. Makes the drill a little bit more difficult, but it also makes it a little bit more fun. Okay, now, this time, Harry's going to lead. Okay, as always, start off by finding the range and begin. Break your timing. Well. Okay. So you can see the importance of this drill. Trains you to read the initial movement and intercept your partner. Okay. In the next segment, we'll take you further into our focus glove drills. In this sequence, we're going to demonstrate what's referred to as the 6-phase intercepting fist drill. This drill trains several aspects into your intercepting fist skill. Now, as we go through these phases, I'm going to explain what you're developing in each phase. Okay, Harry's going to join me now with a focus glove. Okay, now, phases 1 and 2, phases 3 and 4, and phases 5 and 6 take place with the same starting position. It's just the functions at each phase that change. Okay, in phase 1, okay, I'm just going to start off warming up my intercepting fist by just punching at the glove. Okay, so from the starting position, I extend my fist so that it contacts the glove just before full extension. Okay, so this is the distance. This is where you measure off for phase 1. All right, so from here, I'm just going to warm up my punch, concentrating on all the factors that we're trying to develop into the punch. Okay, so from here, I just fire the punch, okay? Now, in phase 2, we start from the same position. We measure off in the same position. Everything is the same with the exception that this time my partner is going to try to move the glove. Now, he's not going to move it this way or this way or this way or this way. He's going to try to move it straight back. Okay, so now my partner is developing his quickness too. He's developing his ability to read my intention, and he's developing his ability to move that hand quick and get that glove out of the way. Okay, so from the same distance. Now this time, he's going to be trying to move the glove. Every time I punch, he's going to try to read it in time to move the glove and get it out of the way. You ready, Harry? Okay, that's how phase 1 and 2 work. All right, then we take it to phase 3, which is possibly the most difficult phase in this particular drill. Okay, now, in phase 3, I measure off here. Arm almost extended, fingertips fully extended. That's where I touch the glove. All right, now this time, I'm going to push into the punch. I'm going to push off. Okay, so I'm going to use a movement that we refer to, that you learned from the footwork tape, called a push shuffle, where you just push, step with the lead foot, slide the rear foot up. Okay, also referred to as step and slide, because you just step and slide. Okay, so now I'm going to add this step and slide movement to the punch, and it changes the punch to what we refer to as a lunging straight punch. Okay, So, here's my starting position. Okay, now in phase 3, Harry just leaves the glove right where it is. Now what I have to concentrate on here is moving my hand before I move the foot. Anytime you're using footwork with a hand technique, you have to concentrate on hand before foot. Remember this, hand before foot, always. If the foot moves first, it gives away your intention to move, okay? So, that's what I'm concentrating on here. Speed plus hand before foot. Okay? If the foot moves first, they see you coming. Okay? So you've got to learn to move that hand first so they don't see it coming till it's too late. Here's my range. Okay, as you can see, the hand moves just before the foot. Okay, now, phase 4. This is the most difficult phase of all in this drill. Because now, not only do I have to close the gap with a push shuffle, but I have to concentrate on being as non-telegraphic as possible, because Harry's going to try to pick up any sign of movement, and he's going to try to move that glove once again straight back. He's going to try to get it out of the way where I can't hit it. So now I've got really a lot to concentrate on up here. So this really makes the drill much more concentrated, much more difficult. Notice that I measure off from the same range as in phase 3. Ready, Harry? Hand has to move first. Okay. Now, had I moved my foot first, he could have picked up on that initial movement and he would have been able to move the glove. Okay, now we go on to phases 5 and 6, which are the 2 final phases of this drill. Okay, now, Harry is going to step back. Okay, then he's going to step through with his right leg and extend the glove toward me. Okay, now I'm going to measure off to right here. Okay, now what this drill teaches you to do is intercept a target moving towards you. So you train to intercept it at just the right moment. In phase 5, no footwork involved. You simply maintain your stance and try to fire that punch at the correct moment so that you intercept the target right at extension. Okay? Now, if I'm hyperextended when the target is to me, I was too early. If my arm is still bent when the target gets to me, I was too late. I should be hitting it right here. Okay? So, watch closely and let's see how I can do it. Felt good. How did it look? Okay, now we go into phase 6. Alright, in phase 6, I have to push shuffle into the oncoming target. So this becomes more difficult. Because not only do I have to gauge the distance between myself and my target, I have to estimate where the target will be and connect at just the right time while moving forward. Okay, so Get the measure off distance. Okay. Now this time, I should have to really reach. Okay. All right. Ready? Okay, that's phase 6. All right, now it's very important if you're the glove holder that when you take this backward position that you hold the glove where it's like a head. Okay? Don't take the glove and hold it down here and then step and bring it around like that. You have to move it straight in. So you stand and you hold it here and you move it straight at your partner. He should be able to see the glove at all times coming right at him. You want to get back, hold the glove back, and you want to step through every time. That gives your partner maximum range on the drill. Okay, that's the 6-phase intercepting fist drill. You can see how many important elements we can develop with that drill. In the next sequence, we're going to show you the 3-man intercepting fist drill. In this sequence, we're going to demonstrate what's known as the 3-man intercepting fist drill. You need 2 partners to assist you with this particular drill. One partner is going to wear a focus glove. The other partner is going to simply be in the on guard position facing your position. Okay, so all 3 men are developing a certain skill by the time this drill is over with. Okay, this works your initial reaction speed, your initial response speed. Okay, this works your non-telegraphic motion. It works your ability to read your opponent's intentions. It develops several different skills here. Some of the more subtle skills necessary for execution of the intercepting fist can be developed through the 3-man intercepting fist drill. Okay, now this drill is going to take place in 3 phases. So normally you would rotate. The man holding the glove would hold the glove for a while one person punched. Okay, then he would go into the 3rd man position. Then the man who had just punched would hold the glove, and then the 3rd man would go to the 1st man position. So normally you just rotate through each phase. But for the sake of demonstration, we're just going to demonstrate each phase to you with each man in a particular position. At this time, I'll be joined by Harry Daniel and Philip Richards, and they're going to assist me in this drill. Okay, now, one man is going to be holding a focus glove. Okay, the other man is going to be on guard in a position like so. Okay, now he's going to measure off with a finger jab, so he's about a foot away from the head. Okay, now, this man is going to hold the glove. This person is going to measure off so that they're punching the glove. Okay, so this is the distance for the first drill. Okay, now what we're going to do, I'm going to initiate the punch. Philip is going to try to read my intention to punch and intercept my movement with a real quick finger jab. So I'm developing the intercepting fist. He's developing the skill to intercept with a finger jab. Okay, also he's developing an extreme degree of quickness because the finger jab moves faster than a punch because an open hand is faster than a closed hand. Okay, so in phase 1, I fire the punch, Philip intercepts or tries to intercept with a finger jab. So I have to try to be very non-telegraphic, and Philip has to be very perceptive visually. Okay, so let's try a few. Okay, that's what phase 1 looks like. Okay, to show you phase 2, we'll rotate and change our position slightly. Philip, you come over here. Harry, you take position here. Okay, now you'll be able to see a slightly different angle on the drill. Okay, Philip, you measure off with your finger jab. I measure off with my punch. Okay, now, in the second phase of this drill, Harry is going to try to move the glove straight back out of my way before I can punch it. Okay, so I have to work on being extremely non-telegraphic this time. And because I have to be quicker, Philip is going to have to be quicker. to be able to use his finger jab to intercept my punch. Okay, so we start off. Philip measure off. Okay, now he should be about a foot away. Okay, then I measure off where I can punch the glove where my fist touches it just before full extension of the arm. So this is the position we're working from for phase 2. Okay, now we're going to go a few rounds and let you see what it's like. Everybody ready? Okay, as you see, I was able to hit the glove every time. Now that means that my punching skill is fairly non-telegraphic. Okay, now, in the next phase of the drill, Harry will be over here, Philip over here, we'll go back to our original position. In the next phase of the drill, Harry may or may not move the glove. So it may be there or it may not be there, okay? So now, I have to work really hard because I don't know whether he's going to move it or not. So, in this case, you don't know whether you can afford to be a little bit slow or not. You know that you have to be as quick as you can possibly be because that glove may be there, it may not be there. Okay? Everybody ready? Okay, we'll let you see what this one looks like. Harry may move the glove, he may not. Okay, that's the 3-man intercepting fist drill. That's how it works. Notice how it flows in a logical progression. First the glove is there, then he tries to pull it back, then the glove may be there or he may try to pull it back. It could go either way. Okay, so I think you can see how each person in the drill gets a lot out of this. Okay, in the next sequence, we'll show you some of our reaction speed drills. In this sequence, we're going to demonstrate what's known as the single glove reaction speed drill. Okay, now, my partner's going to hold a focus glove, and he's going to turn that glove, and he's going to turn it right back. So I'm only going to have a split second to react and hit the glove while the flat surface is toward me. So this develops your visual perception speed, your visual initiation speed, your ability to see and physically initiate your movement immediately upon seeing your target. Okay? All right. At this time, I'll be joined by Philip Richards. Okay. Okay, now, I'm going to measure off on the target, and Philip's going to turn it halfway. Okay. From this position, Philip's going to turn it where it faces me. I'm going to try to hit it before he can turn it back. Now his turn is going to be about like this. That's all the time I've got to be there when I need to be there. So what I've got to do, I've got to pick up the initial movement of this glove and hit immediately. I can't be slow. If I'm slow, I'll meet the side of the glove. Okay? Now this is a good drill. because you can really work your speed, because even if you do hit the side of the glove, no pain. So you can really work on your speed here. Okay. So this is what it'll look like when we get it started. Show them how you're going to turn the glove. Okay? That's how much time I've got to get in there and be on time with my strike. So this is really forcing me to pick up the initiation speed of my striking movement. Ready when you are. Okay, thank you, Philip. Okay, now Philip's going to put 2 gloves on. We're going to show you what's known as the 2-glove reaction speed drill. Okay, Philip's going to take a position like so with the gloves. Now he's either going to bring the right glove out or the left glove out. So if he were facing you, it would look like this, either here or here. Now, I have to sight which glove is coming out and adjust my alignment to that glove as quickly as possible and punch that glove. This would be like an opponent who was moving his head and shifting side to side as he came in. He might be moving in and shifting his head. So I'm going to adjust to his movement time, and I'm going to take him with that intercepting fist right when he moves. Okay? So this basically trains you for a similar movement pattern. Okay, I'm going to assume the on-guard position. Okay, Philip, you show them what you're going to do. Either the right glove or the left glove. And I've got to react as quick as possible. All right. Back up just a hair. That's good. Okay, begin when ready. Okay? That's how that drill works. Now this is a very effective drill for developing your reaction speed and your initial response time on this punch. In the next sequence, we'll take you further into the way of the intercepting fist. As you should know, Jeet Kune means the way of the intercepting fist. The fist does not have to always be what makes the interception. It could also be the foot. When this occurs, it's what we call a Jeet tech, or stop kick. This is where you use a kick of your own to stop your opponent's kick or to stop your opponent's aggressive body movement. Okay, there's several types of stop kicks that we use in Jeet Kune Do. You can use a side kick for a stop kick. You could use an oblique kick or a cross stamping kick as a stop kick. You could use a back kick as a stop kick. A hook kick could even be a stop kick in certain situations. Most of the time, our stop kick will be a side kick movement or a cross stamping movement, but other kicks can be used. Okay, basically, we divide our stop kicking movements up into 2 types of stop kick. One is what we refer to as a passive stop kick. The other is what we refer to as an aggressive stop kick. An example of a passive stop kick would be, let's say that my opponent is facing me and he fires a rear leg straight kick toward my groin, and from my fighting stance I just bring my foot up in a side kick position and stop that side kick from making it, or that straight kick from making it to its intended target. So from here, I just raise my foot and stop his kick from coming in. Okay, that would be a passive stop kick because I did not aggressively kick his leg. I just raised my stop kick and stopped his kick. An aggressive stop kick would be, under the same circumstances, instead of just raising my leg and putting a stop kick, if I'd used some footwork, closed a little bit of distance, and fired a hard side kick into his kick. That's an aggressive stop kick. That's where we apply some force of our own, some power of our own, some energy of our own into stopping the opponent's kick. Now, the aggressive stop kick is going to be a bit more damaging than the passive stop kick. So, when you think in terms of how you're going to stop kick, think about whether it needs to be an aggressive stop kick or whether it needs to be a passive stop kick. Okay? Once again, a passive stop kick is simply where you just raise the leg and stop the opponent's incoming kick. So in other words, if they were firing a straight kick, I just raise my leg and stop their kick. An aggressive stop kick would be if they fired the kick and I move into them and powerfully kick their kick to stop the movement, like so. That would be an aggressive stop kick. In the next sequence, we'll begin to show you how the stop kicks work and the basic mechanics of the different kicks. In this first sequence on stop kicking, we're going to demonstrate the side stop kick. Okay, Harry Daniel's going to join me at this time. Okay, as you'll notice, Harry is wearing some pretty heavy-duty leg protection here. He has soft shin guards on under the hard baseball shin guards. This is necessary to practice effective stop kicking without doing damage to your training partner. Okay, now, a stop kick can take place in several ways, especially a side stop kick. It can be used in several different ways. Okay, one way that it can be used, okay, just stand, Harry, just stand. No stance, just stand, square. Okay, one way that it can be used is at the first sign of aggression, when my opponent starts to move toward me, when he shows the first sign of initiating some type of attack, which will probably be a step in my direction, what I can do is as soon as I sense that step coming, I can fire that side stop kick right into his leg. So, we have certain drills where we might just stand square, like you might be standing before the start of a conflict. Then as soon as he starts to step with either leg, I put that stop kick in there. Okay, so now we're going to do a little bit of that. So you just decide which leg you want to step with and step. Okay, so this will train the precision of the kick. This will train you to put it in there. Okay? Also, since we do this drill without you knowing which leg is coming at you, you train your visual perception. Okay? You pick it up real quick and you do something with it. You take it out. Okay, so that's one way that the side stop kick can be used. See? He's not even throwing a kick. He's just stepping toward me and I stop his motion. Okay, another way that the side stop kick can be used, fighting stance, okay. In this case, Harry's in a right lead. Back up just a little bit, Harry. Harry's in a right lead, okay. Let's say that Harry decides to throw a rear leg straight kick toward my groin. I can just raise my leg and stop kick his attempt to fire that kick into my groin. That's another example of a stop kick. Okay, so you can see that a little bit better. Harry, take left lead. Okay, most people do not know about the power side forward theory. Most people, their right side is their power side, but they were always trained to fight with their power side to the rear, so they'll put their left side to the front. That's just the way it happens most of the time with an untrained fighter. So most of the time I'll probably be facing someone in a left lead. And the most common kick fired by someone in a left lead would be the rear leg straight kick. Okay, so Harry, back up just a little bit. Okay, now from the fighting stance, Harry's going to throw the kick, and when I sense it coming, I'm going to bring my side stop kick in there and stop kick his intended straight kick. Not so rhythmic, break your time. Okay, what you got to do is develop your ability to sense that kick on the way. You can't just be standing here and Harry initiate the kick and then all at once you say, oh, there's a kick coming. You have to pick that kick up immediately, right when it starts towards you. You've got to be there. You've got to time it just right. Okay, so these are some of the simple ways that we use the side stop kick. It's a very effective kick. Another way that we use it, Harry, get the chest protector on the wall, please. Okay, I'm going to help Harry into this chest protector, and I'm going to show you another way that we use this particular movement. Okay, let's see. There we go. Okay. Now, another way that we use this movement is stop kicking with a side kick to the body. Okay? So, in this case, let's say that my opponent moves toward me and starts to raise a hand of aggression, where it's to point the finger, to grab, or to punch. Just whatever. Okay, whenever you're ready, Harry. I bring the side kick in as a stop kick to the body. Okay, notice how it goes very directly into the target. Okay? Very directly, just right from where I am into the target. Some traditional arts that would retract the foot, when they're right here, he's in. See, I'm in trouble. So I have to be very direct. Very direct if I want to put it in there on time. So that's just another example of how we use this side stop kick. Okay, that's the first stop kick. In the next sequence, we're going to take you a little bit further in the stop kick. The previous sequence demonstrated the use of the jump tech or side kick as a stop kicking movement. In this sequence, we're going to demonstrate a dome tech or stump kick as a stop kicking movement. Okay, we're going to once again go with the same kick. Harry's going to join me now with the leg guards on. He's going to take the left lead, and he's going to fire the rear leg straight kick. Okay, back up so we can get everything in the frame. Okay, when he fires the kick, I'm just going to bring my foot up and just stamp right into his leg as the kick comes. Okay, as you can see, there's very little difference between the stamp kick and the side kick when used in this manner. But notice on the side kick, back up a little bit, notice on the side kick, notice that my whole body has to turn in, and notice my position at the completion of the kick. Watch it one more time. Okay, now watch on the stamp kick, watch the body position. See, I don't have to turn in. I don't have to turn my body into the kick. I can just from the stance, bring the stamp kick right in there. Okay, now, notice that in the drills that we're doing for this videotape, notice that we're kicking the shin, okay? That's training. You learn to kick the shin. In the street, a lot of times you would rather kick the knee because that can end a conflict immediately, okay? Just kick the knee instead of the shin. The shin is going to slow them down severely, and it may stop the conflict completely. But if you take that knee, and if you take it hard, especially if you show some aggression with your side kick, that's it. They can hang it up. Okay. If Harry's in a right lead, back up. He's in a right lead and he fires that rear leg kick. I can bring my stamp kick right onto the line and stop kick right on the shin. Okay, like so. So that's another way to use the stamping kick. Thank you, Harry. Okay, in the next sequence I'm going to demonstrate what's referred to as the cross stamping kick, sometimes called an oblique kick. In this sequence we're going to demonstrate the oblique kick or the cross stamping kick used as a stop kick. This kick is somewhat unusual, and it's very, very important that you maintain your angular alignment in your stance if you plan to use this kick. If you saw the tape on kicking, you know how the oblique kick or the cross stamp works. You know that it comes straight through from the fighting stance and it's delivered off the rear leg, like so. Or it can be delivered off the lead leg to stop something like a hook kick from coming in. Okay, so from the fighting stance, I'm going to shoot this leg straight forward into the stop kick position. So from here to here. Notice that I keep my hands up. Notice that I don't just drop the hands. Okay, I keep the hands up. I maintain a good solid on guard position for the execution of the kick. I can't afford to just drop my hands, not one hand nor both hands. I've got to keep them both up and bring that straight in. Okay, Harry will join me with the leg shields on now, and we'll demonstrate how the oblique kick can work, or the cross stamping kick can work as a stop kick. Okay, back up a little bit. Okay, bring the rear leg straight kick in, please. Okay. Pause right there. Now, occasionally I've been asked the question, the cross stamp kick, in this case, is a rear leg kick. The opponent is throwing a rear leg kick. What makes my cross stamp kick get there before his rear leg straight kick? Okay. One thing is the directness. There's no repositioning. I just go straight from where I am into my target. No repositioning. Straight from where I am into my target. Notice as Harry fires the kick, there's some bend in the knee. The body turns through into the kick. Because there's more involvement from the body of the kicker, it makes a difference in the initiation speed, which enables me to get my kick off quicker. Okay, now, if he's in a right lead, and he fires with the left leg, I can still use it. Okay, like so. Alright? As you can see, it's a very effective kick. It's much more powerful than it initially appears to be. Thank you, Harry. Okay. There would be other ways to use that kick also as a stop kick, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Okay, in the next sequence, we're going to talk about using haltek or back kick as a stop kick. In this sequence, we're going to demonstrate the use of the haltek or back kick, and also the use of the juantek or spin back kick as a stop kick. Okay, now, to effectively use the juantek or spin back kick, it must be very direct and it must be very quick, and it has to be on target. So if you plan to ever use the juantek or spin back kick as a stop kicking movement, you need to train this continuously on like a kicking shield or the heavy bag, something that you can kick repeatedly. okay? It's a good idea to train this continuously to get it down so you can use it effectively. Okay, so we're going to start off with the high-tech or back kick. Now, if you saw the kicking tape, you remember that the high-tech was used when you're facing someone and someone moves in from the rear and you sight them moving in, you just kick straight back. So in other words, I'm here, I sight movement coming in from the rear, and I just kick straight back. That's how the high-tech works. So I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. I just kick straight back. In this case, now Harry's going to join me. Although this could be used to the knee as he moved in, like so, I would more than likely use it to the rib solar plexus area. So just back up a little bit and start toward me. Raise your arms up like you're reaching for me, like you're going to grab me. Okay, so I'm here, I'm on guard. I turn around and I sight Harry moving in. So that's where the stop kick comes into play. I sight him coming, and I kick straight back, right into him. Okay, move on in, Harry. Okay, so that would be the use of the basic back kick. Okay, now the spin back kick or Jeet would be used. Okay, in this instance, okay, I'm here. Harry starts to move toward me, raises his arms as if he's going to grab me. Okay, now when someone comes at me and they raise their arms as if they're going to grab me or reach for me, all they're saying, of course they won't say it out loud, but all they might as well be saying to me is, smash my ribs, please. Because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to shatter that rib cage. Okay, so from this position, if Harry starts to move toward me and I see him raise his hands, okay, that's where I see my opening. Okay, back up just a little bit. Okay, that's where I see my opening. So what we're going to do, Harry's going to move toward me. He's going to raise his hands as if he's reaching for me or if he's going to grab me. And I'm going to use the Jeet or the spin back kick as a stop kick. Okay. Thank you, Harry. That's enough punishment for one sequence. Okay, as you can see, the Jeet is an extremely difficult kick to deliver effectively. Of course, Harry didn't think it was not very effective, but it's an extremely difficult kick to deliver effectively. So, in the next sequence, we're just going to kind of freestyle it and demonstrate some different use of some various stop kicks. In this sequence, Harry and I are just going to kind of move around. He's going to fire a few kicks, different kinds of kicks, whatever he wants to do. Okay, now, in this drill, I have the choice to either evade his kick or stop kick it, okay? So, you're going to see probably a little bit of evading, and you're going to see a whole lot of stop kicking, okay? So Harry's geared up and ready for this, and so we're just going to go at it. We're going to start off kind of slow. We're going to gradually build up to where we've got a little bit of speed, okay? So this is just a drill. This is just exchanging some movements. He's trying to fire some kicks, and I'm stop kicking or evading, okay? good. Thank you, Harry. Okay, through that brief demonstration, you can see how effective these stop kicks can be. As you can see from the stop kicking drill that we did in the previous sequence, stop kicking can be extremely damaging, and also these drills can be a lot of fun. I'm sure you can tell in a few places during this tape we have a little fun with this, and that's good. You should have a little fun with your drills. But always remember the serious nature of what you're doing and try to avoid doing any damage to your opponent that you would regret later. You need to preserve your training partners, because if they're all gone, who do you train with? Okay, I hope you've enjoyed Junfan Jeet Kune Do Complete Volume 5, Intercepting Fist and Stop Kicking. I'll look forward to seeing you in the next tape, which covers basic hand and leg defense as it's applied in Junfan Kung Fu and Jeet Kune Do. If you're interested in ordering more tapes in this series, or if you're interested in becoming a member of the United States Jeet Kune Do Alliance, or if you're interested in becoming a member of the International Jeet Kune Do Federation, you can contact me, Sifu Lamar Davis II, by writing to 267 West Valley Avenue, suite number 223, Birmingham, Alabama, zip code 35209. Or you can give me a call, area code 205-664-5425. I'll be glad to talk to you about membership, about the videotapes, about anything else that you may be needing to know regarding your personal training or seminars. I travel all over the place doing seminars and promoting Junfan Jeet Kune Do as it was taught by Bruce Lee. I'll be more than happy to come to your city and do a seminar. If you're interested in seminars, you can write to the address previously mentioned, or you can call me and I'll be glad to send you some information and help you set something up. I look forward to seeing you in Junfan Jeet Kune Do Complete Volume 6, Hand and Leg Defense.